What is up, guys? So I'm pretty pumped right now. I just finished Farouk's board. His entire system is pretty much right here. I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what this system entails, because this is going to be controlling Farouk's Pro car, why you would go this route, and the benefits and the drawbacks. Pretty much starting off, let's talk about Farouk's situation and why he chose to go with conventional relays over a solid state PDM. Farouk's situation, he's building a brand new car, right? He wants the car to be reliable. He told me a million times he's been plagued with these wiring issues that seem to be haunting him every round he goes to. He has a wiring issue, whether it's ignition or this is turning on and off or that's melting. There's a fundamental problem with the way that his current car was set up. So on the new car, he doesn't want that to be a thing, and it shouldn't be a thing. When you have your car wired by someone, it should be done to where you never have to touch it again. Unfortunately, most of the time with solid state PDMs or whatever, those things, they're awesome. They really are. And they're great, and I love working with them. I love wiring them. I'll be moving to one in my car, but the budget just isn't there for everyone to get those done if you can't do it on your own reliably, within the means, and really make it worth it to go that route. And what I mean by that is if you have a car with a single fuel pump, a mechanical fan, it's carbureted or something, you really don't need a PDM to control all that stuff. But when you start driving fans low side and they've got different speeds, and you've got a fuel pump that's PWM controlled, it's got a speed controller on it, and you've got all this stuff happening. It's automated. The ECU is turning on and off the nitrous bottle heater based off of pressure or heat. Then you really need to utilize something that can do that so that you can just focus on driving. You don't want to have to sit there and think, oh crap, my nitrous bottle pressure is way too high, I need to turn the warmer off. It should just happen automatically. And that's what technology is put into these PDMs, and those are great things. Again, unfortunately, sometimes that's just not in the budget. Also, it's a preference thing. Some drivers actually just like doing it. They like to turn on the fans. They like to be in control of the fuel pump when it turns on and off, and that's okay. That's what they like. That's what they like. So, anyways, me and Farouk put this together because one, budget, and two, I'm going to go out of my way to help Farouk because he's always helped me with a lot of things. So I put this setup together. He gave me a whole list of everything he wanted, and in front of you, you see a board that has 15 relays on it. They're all heavy-duty relays, Picker made. Even though they're made in China, these are great relays. I've used them a million times before. Again, none of them have ever failed. I've never seen one go out. Usually relays fail because they're incorrectly installed. But it's got a master 150 amp relay on it, which is made by TE Connectivity, which is able to kill the ignition in case something goes wrong. So master ignition will be killed if he needs to kill the car. So the foundation of Farouk's car is going to be this SD dual pole bistable relay, mechanical, right here. And by bistable, it means that it doesn't draw any power in the on or off position, which is awesome because then it's not going to drain his battery. Dual pole meaning that it switches on and off the power and the ground. So when you hit kill, it lifts both of them. Not at the exact same time, but it does one and then the next. And that's awesome because then you have a completely dead system. That brings me to this. This right here is the remote mount emergency kill switch. This is going to be mounted outside of the driver's window this year. Last year it was the passenger side window. This year it's going to be the driver's side window. This thing is waterproof, it's heavy duty, and it will kill that relay when you hit it. So when you turn it on, you hit the button, and we are on. Now all of the lights turn on. This is me. I set up this little bench right here to test everything before I head up and give this to Farouk because I need to make sure that everything's working because I don't want to waste any time. But let's check it out. What makes this board really unique is that I've kind of built in a mechanical type of logic, and I'm not just trying to sound all fancy and everything, but it's cool because he wants to be able to turn on and off the fuel pumps himself, but he wanted the ECU to drive the actual cooling fans of the car because he doesn't want to have to deal with that. Do I, personally, preference-wise, feel that I would want that? No. but I'm not wiring my car. I'm wiring Farouk's car, and I'm building this for him. This is his car. This is what he wants. So I'm going to give him what he wants, right? We bounce the ideas back off each other, and that's what he wants, so it's perfectly fine. So I had to figure out a way how to do that on the board with conventional relays. With a PDM, you could just go into the software and change it to where there's an output designated from the ECU into the PDM. The PDM sees that output and controls a fan on and off with temperature based as a parameter. With this situation, I decided to have it be a ground or a pull down, which is going to trigger the 2 cooling fans, which are right here, and there's an output that is on this connector here that will allow that. So that's pretty cool. But most people don't see what it takes to get all that working correctly. So what you have, just to break this all down real quick, is you have 4 and 4 heavy-duty 30-amp circuits. I use these for fans and fuel pumps. So he's got 3 fuel pumps, 2 fans, 1 nitrous. This is the starter, and this is the water pump. The water pump relay is actually triggered over here, and he wants to be able to control that with one of the switches, so that will do that. But it's not pulling from this little guy because this thing is not rated for heavy amp draw or current, I'm sorry, and I like using these because they are. So that relay actually pulls here, and this is the fuse circuit that will drive his water pump, which he controls. Then you have your starter, your ECU, you have your fuel pumps. This is the water pump. This is the nitrous signal and the actual bottle heater. So there's a wire that goes all the way to trigger a heavy-duty relay over here, which is going to also give a 12-volt out onto this right here. So the ECU can see that nitrous is active when he turns that switch on, and the ECU does need that to function correctly. Then you have your actual bottle heater wire, the red one there, on an HD connector, Deutsch connector, because these can handle the current that is going to be needed to drive that thing. You have your power, main power here, 3/8 terminal. You have your main ground here. And that's really just about it. This board fits in an S14. Farouk is building an S14. All right, so this is the switch panel that we will be using for Farouk's car. Again, this is the remote mount emergency kill switch. This turns everything on or off from outside of the car. Normally, that will stay off when Farouk decides to store the car, but when he's at the track, it'll stay on. It doesn't draw in the on or off position, so that's great. Then you have switch number 1, that is ECU power. You have a momentary switch for the starter, and the rest of these are Farouk's designations for certain things, like the fuel pump, then you have the water pump, then you have nitrous arm and the 12-volt switch to the ECU, which lets it know that nitrous is now active. You have your wipers, outside headlights, and the cool suit. So that's that. And again, if you get into a bind, you simply turn off the car like this and kills everything. So this is awesome. This board fits in the S14. It goes in and out just with a couple connectors, 1, 2, 3, 4, and yeah, I'm pretty excited to give this thing to Farouk. It'll be a good step up compared to what he's been working with in the past, and then we just have to work on the engine harness. But again, I hope I helped some of you guys understand what this board can do and why I do it a certain way. Everything's color-coded, obviously, to keep it simple, and then when I get there, running wire to the rest of the car is going to be very, very simple. It's already done. All the hard work is right here. When you see cars that are a rat's nest, all that's rat's nest is like this, but this is way more organized, and it takes a lot of time to do that. But in the end game, when you have to troubleshoot, everything's right in front of you, and it's totally worth it. So yeah, hope I helped you guys out. If you guys have any questions, I will do my best to answer. Granted, I do have the time to get to those questions. Sometimes some of the questions are so in-depth, it'd probably be best if you just tackled it on your own and did the research on your own, because you'd learn more than I could even tell you in that moment, you know? Yeah, Wolf Wire Co. This is it.